As you've seen, we've done a lot of work on the ZJ, like the intake heated seats. We've done a few other things. Right now we're trying to fix the flipper glass. It's not working right now, and it's all controlled electronically, not mechanically. I'll go show you that right now. So how this is supposed to work is you unlock it, you hit a switch right here, you push that, and it kicks it up. And you should be able to open it and get to everything you have. Well, alright, we've started by taking off this trim piece right here. Let's see what's going on.
Alright, this mechanism here, which unlocks and locks the gate itself to be able to do the whole lift gate, is this part right here, which needs to be greased, of course. But this micro switch right here allows you to open the lift gate, which is just the glass part. This switch is not being made. We're going to start here and see if we're getting any kind of problem here, and we're pretty sure we are. So anyhow, right now we got our ohm meter out, and we got it on the locked position, and I'm going to see if we get a. Now, overload means there's no way current can flow. Touch the leads together, and we have some resistance. We should see the same thing when this micro switch is made. Okay. Now, still overload. Now if we push the switch over and it doesn't change, then the switch is bad. Switch is supposed to be made, we still have an overload, so we have no switch. The switch isn't working, in other words, it's not made. So you can go back and forth a couple of times to see if it's just that, and it's no change. So we have a bad micro switch. So we're going to try to take that off, and sometimes the plunger, which gets frozen or stuck, it could be from corrosion. If that's what it is, maybe we can loosen it up, free it up, and get it working. If not, we're going to have to replace that switch by finding a switch that'll work in its place if we can't find the exact same one. Let's see what we got.
Oh, we got this off here. Camera focus. Alright, this just peeled off this side tab here. Alright, and a little screw. Or simply, it will knock it out with a screwdriver by just prying it off. This red connector, that connected here, a simple ball and socket. Once you take off the nut that holds in a little screw right there, all there on the right side, it pulls right out.
Now we have to get this screw out that holds that micro switch, and it's a little bit tight. I've got it loose just a second ago. Forgot to start the camera. So now we'll get this off, see what it's doing. Okay, there's your little plunger. This part's supposed to come up and ride with it, and it's not. It's just dead. So we'll see. We'll pull this little rubber piece off and see if there's anything we can do to help this thing. Now it's riveted on, so that's going to be. I mean, we could put miniature screws back in it. I've got some, and we may have to do that. We'll see. It's got about 1/8 of an inch, if that. The spring is broken, is my guess. We'll have to we'll definitely have to replace the switch. All right, we got the mechanism off, and here's that switch. It's a micro switch right here where my screwdriver is pointing. That's the part that's not working right there. It comes up, the lever arm's on it, of course, but the plunger is not working, so it's a breakdown inside this micro switch. We've looked all around everywhere. We can't find one. It seems like there are a few of the entire mechanism that you can buy. Oh, it's like 70 or 80 bucks, the cheapest one.
Most of them do not come with a micro switch.
Right, most of them won't come with what you need, and I couldn't find it. Maybe you can find it. If you can, then you're good to go. But what I've done, I went on Amazon and ordered an assortment of different micro switches that I know will work, with different length arms and different shapes, or not shapes, but styles, the ones that I'm familiar with. So with the assortment, I can pick out the one that will easily duplicate what this micro switch is doing, and I chose this one, and it's as close as I can get without spending hours and hours trying to find one that's any closer, but this will work fine. The only drawback to this is when I put it on the same angle, if you can see here, when I put it on the same angle so it'll work the same way, this hole right here runs off of the plate. So now I've got to make another plate just like the one that this one's mounted to, which is not a huge deal. If you can see it, it's just a 90-degree piece of sheet metal, one screw with a pin that holds it here. All I got to do is to get the measurements off of this, which I've done. I've copied that onto a piece that I had laying around, moved everything over that's pertinent. Since I have to be longer, I have to cut out around this nylon piece, so I have to come up and over, back up and back over. I just need a little extension on the same plate with a little extension so it'll be long enough to hold the new switch. And I know everybody's got little things like that laying around. You may have to fabricate your own unless you can find that same switch. That's where we are. And this one is a pretty nice switch. It's got a ground, of course, and you can wire it normally open and normally closed, meaning in one position it's going to be on, or if you switch the wire in that same position it's going to be off. I'm not sure which way we have to be here, but we'll figure it out once we get it. Okay, we made our new bracket. If you can see, we had to make that a little bit longer. It's the exact same dimensions as the other. We made it longer because this switch had to be on an angle, and the other bracket would have been too short because this, where we're going to put our screw, was off of the piece. So what we're going to do right now is figure out where we have to be, and this piece slides like this, right there, like that. It rides on that little rusty spot right there. That's where it rides. Now, since I can switch this micro switch to normally open and normally close any way I want, that's going to work out good because we don't know what the other switch was, because you can't figure it out because it's constantly open, so I don't know which position. Anyhow, since this is going to be the locked position and the switch needs to be made, all I have to do is catch the angle. The angle's going to be about there. That's where the switch is made right now, so I know it's going to be. All right, we found a screw that will work, and it's a 3mm by 0.5 threads. That's what we had laying around, so that's what we're using. So we drilled the hole 94 thousandths, and yeah, 94 thousandths. That's the closest I could get. And now we're tapping it 3mm by 0.5 because those are the screws we had that will actually fit the hole. Yeah, I know it's a pain in the butt, but gotta do what you gotta do. Okay, we drilled and tapped our screws, put the bracket back on, and then tighten the screws up, and it's good to go. That's as good as it was before, and now we can replace this micro switch if it goes out again. Now the other thing is, in the locked position, you do not want current flow.
Right now it's in the locked position.
It's in the locked position. So we're going to test the switch. This switch goes either way, normally open and normally closed. All right, there's your ground. Now we want this to say OL. That means overload. That means there's no current flow. Okay, right there we have resistance, so we know the current's going to flow that path. Since we don't want current flow with it locked, so you can't push the button and open the back glass, we want it to be OL right there. So this terminal and that terminal will be the only two that connect on your switch right here. That's a normally open and normally closed, don't matter which one it is. We just know which way the current needs to flow, and that's only when it's in the unlocked position. Now if I push it over, see, we got no current flow. If I push it over, oh, well, I just grounded that out. Right there, now the switch is allowing current to flow. It is in the unlocked position. Now we can hit the button and open the back glass. So we know that was a problem before. And this might not be the only problem. And this may not be the problem you're having with your Jeep, but it very well could be. It was on ours. It was the only thing that we could find that wasn't working.
And it's worth testing.
It's worth a test, absolutely. We know that one had no current flow either way. That switch
Yep.
was bad.
That's the switch that we tested.
That's right.
There's a plug that we tested.
There we go. Oh,
Now assembly, I did not do any of this on camera, but you almost had to take out the entire assembly. I did not figure out a way to take off the micro switch bracket from the original, and it was longer too. So I'll have to just take off the whole assembly. And for reassembly, we're actually able to take it off the bracket for the new micro switch, because it being much shorter, we could get the assembly back in there much easier and actually tighten it down with the screwdriver and get enough angle, because it is so much shorter. It's gonna be a pain. We were sitting here for about 30 minutes trying to get that assembly back in there. I want to make this video because there aren't any videos. There's only one video on YouTube about fixing this right here, and there's a couple people talking about it in the forums, but not actually fixing it, because it's near impossible to find a replacement assembly or just a micro switch itself. So I hope you found it helpful. Alright, and it works the same way on the WJs, very similarly on the WJs and the WK1s. And just about any vehicle, it seems like micro switch seems to go out first on most vehicles with a flipper glass. But I don't know, I think it should be mechanical rather than all electrical, everything being controlled by a micro switch with a little spring. But got it working now, can't complain about that. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. See you on the next one.